lovers, and welcome back to Stuff the Podcast, where we talk about cooking, our favourite ingredients, and ways to get creative and inventive in the kitchen.
It's hosted by me, George Egg, the snack hacker, and the voice you just heard, Martyn O'Dell, the Lagon chef. This is a show all about making food accessible, fun, and above all, delicious.
Always comes in threes. And each week we'll be chatting about ours and our listeners' favourite stories.
So head over to our socials. Stories
and dishes
They
and
everything.
Changed it.
I tell you what, actually, do you know what? There's a thing that always bugs me, and there's a comma, right, where you at the beginning say the podcast where we talk about cooking, comma, our favourite ingredients, but it all sounds like cooking our favourite ingredients. It feels like doesn't it?
So I don't read
like,
it.
No. You're reading it correctly,
right?
But it always sounds like it should be saying cooking our favourite ingredients. But cooking is one thing, our favourite ingredients is another.
Right.
Anyway, head over to our socials, won't you? At the Stuff Podcast and get involved.
You can tell he's written a book. Grammatical boy over here.
No. You're mistaken. I'm saying you're correct. I'm saying that it's funny because it could be read as cooking our favourite ingredients or cooking our favourite ingredients.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I don't read it. I just have it in my head.
No, but you're saying it correctly.
Great.
I'm just saying that it always feels like it could be the other thing as well.
Brilliant.
There's not a criticism.
Yeah, it's all right. I wasn't saying it was gosh, she's edgy today, isn't she? George, how does it feel to be a 2-week-old book publisher?
Well, at the time of recording, I don't know. I always worry that discussing 2 weeks' time is tempting fate because I might be going, well, the pulping went well, So
You might be dead. You never know.
I could be.
I love thinking about things like that right now.
The ghost of George Egg. The ghost of George Egg's book.
Well, because I think a new Final Destination came out not too long ago. And then there was there was the Twitter feed of like the best deaths from Final Destination. Some of them were brilliant.
I haven't
really
seen
creative.
it, but my friend saw it the other day and he said it was so funny. And so, but he just said it's like the mousetrap game, some of the deaths, that is just like that, bonk, 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 bonk.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the early ones, you were like, oh, that's quite realistic. And then they were sort of struggling. And then some of them, It was like the two girls that got stuck in the sunbeds and then got cooked alive. Oh.
Anyway, that sounds like a snack hack.
It is. Yeah, get a sunbed.
You could
lay
probably
a toasty on your chest.
I wonder if you could do, like a massive, if you made a massive slice of bread or a couple of slices of bread and then in a big sunbed and...
Like a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah. Like a big panini, like human panini.
That'd be your next tour.
George Egg human panini. Is there any food in the film, as it's a food podcast?
I don't know. I'm rewatching all the movies in my head. I think it's one of those ones I only watch when I'm like drunk at my mate's house, and then we're like, should we put a movie on to go to bed to? And we're like, yeah, let's put Final Destination. And then you get to the point where all the logs fall off the back of the lorry and they die, and you're like, yeah.
Because food in films is a rich subject.
It is,
isn't it?
What's your favourite piece of food from a film?
God,
I've asked the wrong person.
Yes, I really have asked the wrong question. I tell you what, my favourite film for food is the film Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh.
And there's so much food in that, and just like really obscure stuff like this. They've obviously paid attention to it, but it's never mentioned. So there's a bit where his brother is grating cheese onto nachos, but he's got this block of, I guess, red Leicester or some American like dyed cheddar. But the block of cheese is probably about a foot long.
Yeah.
And he's kind of holding it at one end and it's like really coming out and then grating it like that. But, but just little, where they obviously design it when it will be funny if he's got a massive block of cheese, but that's it.
The other cheese, Freddie got fingered in that bit where he makes a cheese sandwich.
What happens there?
Oh, he's working in he's working in like a Subway kind of shop, and then the person orders a cheese sandwich, and he's like, "What's a cheese sandwich? We've had cheese," and he's just like picking up all of the prep and just like, love that film. You not seen it?
No.
I can't believe you haven't seen it, George. What's the film that you want to talk about?
Have you not seen it?
What's the film that you said makes you emotional but happy and you sent me the trailer? Just say it quickly. Let's not talk about it too much.
I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
The Ballad of Wallace Island.
The Ballad of what?
And it is... there's good food in that, actually. There's a massive piece of pork.
Oh.
And there is an improvised peanut butter cup. And it's either a turbot or what's another big fish?
John Dory. Skate.
No. Another big like turbot shape. Maybe it just was a turbot.
Dover sole.
I think it was a turbot. Anyway, there's a big turbot.
Halibut.
Well. Might have been a halibut.
Oof.
No, it is a halibut.
Yes.
You're right. Well done.
Good.
But
Keep it on the food.
But no, it's it's a brilliant film. Very funny, but also very moving.
Great. Love movies. I went to Cornwall and I went crabbing and I went mackerel fishing. And guess how many mackerel I caught?
9.
One.
Well,
One mackerel.
Then all the more valuable.
No, because we gave it to the kids next to us. There was 9 of us on a boat.
Yeah.
And everyone caught 1, apart from this other kid who caught 2. But when we went, I was like, I took Janine's dad and I was like, we're going to catch so many mackerel.
Yeah.
Because I had all these mackerel dishes in my head. We got 1.
I wonder if that's a bad skipper who's not finding the shoals.
Maybe. But yeah, there was 2 boats out and no one caught anything apart from someone caught a seagull on the other boat.
Seagull?
Yeah.
Like that?
Because you know when
sorry.
you know when you pull them in and then they're all like flapping about, the seagull just went, bosh, wrapped
Did it
himself
actually
up.
Oh,
But you
God.
just saw it going, "What?" And then they threw it away, and then the thing just landed there and turned around like nothing happened. We're just waiting for the next lot to come up. But yeah, 1 mackerel.
What a shame.
Absolutely gutted.
Did you tell me about the crab?
So we just went crabbing.
And
we caught loads.
and cooked?
Yeah, no, didn't cook them. It's only like a game, isn't it? You drop it down and they come up, and then. But we did it with smoked bacon. Apparently, is the weapon of choice for.
Really?
Yeah, and they do. You can see
I
them.
wonder why they favour the smoked bacon.
Just bored of fish, aren't they? If they're in the water the whole time, they're just like,
Bored of fish.
Well, you never know. They're in there all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, I wonder if their brains can compute boredom.
Well, they definitely loved bacon.
Right.
You could see them. It was so weird. Like when you do it in loo, it's so deep. But then when the tide's coming in, you kind of like, you can see the water really rising like this. And at the beginning, you can see them sort of like coming along and you can go, oh, is that a bit of seaweed or is that a crab? And then you pull it up and it's like, they're only about this big. No.
And what was the best food you had when you were in Cornwall? You had I'm looking on your socials, you had some nice things.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Did
think.
you go to good services on the way down there or something?
No, that was Molly's
Right.
Diner. Yeah,
Right.
so it's not a services, but that's there's like a little hotel B&B style thing, and then they've got a diner which is like
Is
an
that in
American style diner.
Cornwall or-
No, Bristol.
Right.
Yeah, just off the M5. So yeah, we trudge through the traffic to get there, or you can do the nice route. But then on the nice route, you get terrible services, or you don't really get any services. So yeah, Molly's Diner was great, like American stuff, like burgers, hot dogs,
Yum.
deli sandwiches, chips.
What'd you have?
Decent coffee. I had a burger.
Burgers.
And then Noah had a hot dog. Janine had like this like pastrami deli thing, which she said was 12 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, although she didn't want to be on camera. She was like, that was really good.
I had a disappointing pastrami bagel in Worthing the other day.
Oh.
It was just
Worthing?
say when you've been, yeah.
I was meant to get a tattoo in Worthing. I've never known anyone that's been to Worthing.
Well, it's near Brighton. And it was, well, we went there because it was the only place that was showing the film I wanted to go and see at 11 in the morning. So we went 11. I hardly ever go to the cinema unless it's in the evening. But it was really nice because you came out and you went, oh my God, I feel like I've really done something. And it's like 1:30.
You just
it was
sat
lovely.
still.
But no, but you know what I mean? Like you kind of ticked something off that you wanted to do. But so I'm just going to cough.
Go on.
But yes, there was a bagel shop. And it was like a Reuben, but it's just, I think when you've had one from somewhere proper,
Like Cat's Deli.
yeah, or just like the Brick Lane, you know, like the salt beef one from Brick Lane where it's just masses in there, and you go to some local place and it was honestly, it was like, it didn't look like it was filled at all, and then you had a bite and it was, I don't know, like 3 millimeters of pastrami, if
Yeah.
that,
I think
2 millimeters. It's just like
There's a good
stingy.
snack hack for you there. Just take your own pastrami, go there, and then go, if you want a real one, and just fill it with your own stuffings.
And it goes.
Oh. Gosh. I looked you in the eye while you did that as well, and it was
no,
absolutely revolting.
That's in your head.
Stuff it in. Oh, should we move on to question of the week?
Yes.
Let's get this rolling. Question of the week.
What is the question of the week?
Well,
Just in
so
case there's listeners who are going, what do they mean, question of the week?
Well, it's obviously a question of the week. At the beginning of the show, what we do is we pose a question called the question of the week. It's a question, we lay it out, and then at the end of the show, we kind of answer the question of the week. So it's kind of a nice little hook.
Okay, shall I read it?
Go, you wouldn't do it?
Which common fruit is actually a giant herb? A giant herb?
A giant herb?
A fruit that's a herb? That's like, I wonder if that's, I mean, obviously it's like the whole, a tomato is
A fruit.
a fruit and a
It's got to be it. It's got to be
onion
it.
is a pig.
I reckon. No, I don't know. I didn't actually have anything in my head. Oh, looking at Sadie, you're going to see if she's got any eye movement. Oh, she stitched us up. Did you spell it right?
A fruit is a herb.
Did you spell fruit right or herb right? Which is a
I'm
giant.
imagining it's going to be a fruit that's, I was going to say it's like a salad leaf, but there's no fruits that are like salad leaves.
That's why I
are
was
there?
going down the salad leaf route as well, and then I was going,
But then you don't.
what's
there's
the
no-
bulb at the bottom of it?
But then that wouldn't be a fruit if it's a bulb, because a fruit is something that hangs off a. It's going to be something that hangs off, so it's not going to be a strawberry, maybe.
Strawberry, raspberry,
Strawberry.
blueberry, strawberry.
I'm going to guess strawberry. No, that's definitely a fruit, isn't it?
Well, hey, look, we're going to learn something new
maybe
today.
Maybe it's a trick.
Yeah, that's what I reckon. Sadie's there going.
Do you like fruit? I don't like fruit.
You don't?
Well, I never eat it, and I never go to it. And like Mrs. Egg will go, oh,
you should have some fruit.
I
love an apple, love a strawberry. I could destroy 17 punnets of blueberries, like without fail. If they're good ones, or even if I don't even care really.
Just I like apples actually.
Apples are nice. Apple and peanut butter.
But I like cutting up an apple.
Yeah,
I much prefer doing that than nom nom nom. I like the
process.
Kind of the experience of cutting it up and yeah.
Yeah, grapefruits is one that I used to be into as a kid, but I haven't had one in a while.
I remember the first time I had grapefruit with sugar and then put under a really hot grill, so you get that kind of brulee and then super bitter. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, yum.
Oh, maybe I do like fruit.
What about banana? Up your bum.
I'm not that keen on bananas. I'm not keen on the texture. They're a bit yeah, aren't they? You know.
I love a banana when it goes to the point. I'm always like a bit of like the brownie banana. Like if it goes,
when it goes like really sweet and
I like it when it goes a little bit funky. I almost feel like it's like a test.
And I love using them as an ingredient when they're like that. For cake, whatever. Let's think of one more fruit before we move on.
What's
Satsuma? Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, although it gets stuck in your nail, you get the white pith in your nail.
Oh, I'm talking about easy peelers.
Oh, still.
One where you literally just kind of look at them and they go,
oh.
There you go.
The ones that got like an air pocket around the inside of them.
Yeah. Like big
How do
jumper.
they make of easy peelers?
I don't know, they breed them like that, I suppose.
Do you reckon? It's probably like that, the cauliflower and the broccoli story, isn't it?
Yeah, and also seedless. I always think that's odd because you go, well, how are they going to propagate them if they're seedless?
Oh, maybe it's male and female.
I don't know. Our producers asked us to move on. So we're going to move on to the star ingredient. And every episode, listeners, one of us, we take it in turns, unless we've got a guest, but we to choose an ingredient to talk about and perhaps always bring something in to eat. And today's star ingredient is Martyn's choice, and it is...
Sadie's choice. Courgette!
Sadie's choice.
Courgette. Well, no, they offered me aubergine. I hate aubergine. And I was
I think hate is too strong a word.
Dislike.
Thank you.
Find it naff. It's weird. It's bummy. It's a bit gloopy. It's a bit soft. Bummy.
It's not bummy like bummy cheese. Anyway, you sometimes say you like bums.
I do like
and
bums.
Bummy things.
I'm sticking things up my bums.
What was the thing you said that was there was something a few episodes ago where you were saying, oh, I like it and it's all like bummy, tastes bummy and smells bummy. What was it? Was it cabbage? I'm not sure if it was cabbage. It was something that I was like, is it bummy? But it was funny. Anyway.
Cheese?
No, because that is definitely bummy. We're going to have to listen back.
Listeners,
you're going to have to listen back and message us in and tell us what Martyn liked that was bummy. Anyway, it's courgette. Let's talk courgette. And in fact, we did... Sorry, I'm talking a lot. We did a pilot for this podcast before, which we never broadcast. And that was the ingredient that we chose for that one. So we've got a lot in the bank to talk about courgettes. Have you?
I resurrected it just for you.
Well, don't tell us yet. Let's talk about courgettes first.
Why?
Otherwise, we go straight to there and then we run out of things to say.
Courgette, also known as, for American listeners, the 1%.
Or people who like to use Americanisms.
Irish. Zucchini.
Yes, but I think that's because zucchini is because zucchini, isn't it? Because Ireland is...
Closer to America.
It's closer to America, and a lot of America was populated by the Irish.
Is that what it is?
I assume so.
Right. Yeah, because Connor Spacey, one of the chefs, he always does. He goes, "Oh, and put some scallions on," and I'm like, "Scallions?
Scallions?
Yeah, bell pepper."
But zucchini, Italian for courgette. I didn't like courgettes when I was a little boy. I thought they were watery and nothingy.
But it's one of those things. It's how you cook it.
Yeah.
I think it's like, My mum used to do it, and it used to be like when they cut over circles, which offends me, or just big battens of it, and then it's just boiled, and then the middle just goes, and then you're just left with this mushy sort of.
Well, I remember the first time
green.
I saw Jamie Oliver made a carbonara but using courgettes instead of bacon. That'd upset the Italians, wouldn't it? But and he quartered it, and then he took that kind of more fluffy core out, which I do now. Yeah. But then I eat it. Oh. So I just eat it while I'm cooking. But I take that core out so that then you've got much. And then he cut them like penne kind of shape, and then did it with penne. It worked really well. It was a good. Did he have? Maybe he did have bacon in there as well. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, they were nice, and they got a nice bit of colour on. And I mean, I love them now. Yeah, but when I was a little boy, I was like that. No, not courgettes.
There was a really funny thing of Jamie Oliver. Like there was just a post, and it was like all the things that people blame for Jamie Oliver. Or that blame Jamie Oliver for, and it was like he took away turkey Twizzlers, and then people were just going, "Yeah, I stubbed my toe at work today. It's Jamie Oliver's fault." It was just like all of these things that just all led back to turkey Twizzlers.
It's so unfair, isn't it?
So unfair. All the things he's done.
I think he is an absolute champ, and I suppose the thing is, with tremendous fame, you're going to get an equal amount of adulation as you are of people going,
yeah. But people kind of look at it very blindly, and they go, "Well, he did this, he did that. Oh, he closed down those restaurants and did this." And I was like, "Well, it's
because he's just doing masses of stuff."
Yeah,
so
anyway, let's talk about courgette. No,
Jamie Oliver. We go on to Jamie Oliver
in America. Have you tried courgette flowers?
No, I never have.
Yeah, I've had it once.
Well, I mean, I love the idea of them, and I think they look really beautiful. And the idea of battering them and stuffing them and everything, but I've just never. The only time I've had access to them was when we had an allotment years ago, and we grew courgettes, and they went berserk. It was a really hot summer, and we got loads. And I think we took them all home with the flowers on, and then for whatever reason, just didn't get around too many days, and then we were like, "Oh, these flowers have all just gone."
I don't know any other way you do them apart from stuffing them and battering them and then frying them. I don't think I've seen anything different.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should get hold of some and try doing something else with them. What do they? Do you remember what they taste like? I mean, do they taste of courgette, or do they not really taste of anything?
No, I don't know. Probably just the filling. That's what I always find funny when you fill things that are so delicate, and then you put a really punchy ricotta-y sauce in there, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, this is delicious." It's just deep fried ricotta.
Maybe it's a textural thing. Maybe because they're in that, and then you've got the batter that it forms better. Whereas if you just took that filling and battered it, you'd end up with just half everywhere.
Just make pasta, but fill a pasta.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, courgette flowers, I want to get some, and I want to do. I want to grow courgettes again.
You do. They look really cool when they grow as well.
You need a lot of space.
I went to the Eden Project.
And Did they have courgettes?
They grew courgette, and they were unbelievable. But they call them the trumpetties, trumpet ones, the ones that sort of like go very tubular and kind of bendy. You know, like courgettes that we get like that with a little bit of wonk to it. These ones were like tubular.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're called tubular.
Because also that's the thing is that courgettes we just think of as long, but actually, you go to an interesting greengrocers and they've got spherical ones, and they're courgettes. Yeah. You go, that's not courgette; it's like a little pumpkin. But
my brain sorry, I was just.
Is it because I just did that as well?
Well, no, I was just thinking like, what if we changed the word from courgette for like whatever? And
I think when it comes to food, you really I mean, there's so many edits where people have. Made things look a lot. I mean, the
straight ones, bendy ones,
the cassette boy Nigella and the cassette boy Jamie. You've seen those?
Yeah.
I mean, they're very good. Filthy, but very funny.
What's your thoughts on courgette in place of spaghetti?
It isn't. It's awful. But I mean, it's not a substitute for. I mean, I almost go, yes, fine. Just don't call it a substitute for spaghetti.
Yeah.
Spiralize a courgette and go, this is courgette string, which I have with something else, but. It just doesn't.
Oh, it was. I obviously remember working with Woe Jix back in the day.
Who's Woe Jix?
Remember?
Oh,
and it used to be a thing going like, "Oh, we need something that's low carb," and it was just like, "Why don't we do?" I was like, "I'm not writing that on a piece of paper," and he was no.
But it's just not. It's fine if you go, "This is a salad" or whatever. I love one of my favourite things to do with courgettes is like where you use a peeler and get kind of ribbons and then. Ceviche, whatever like that. Oh, spoiler alert. But you know what I mean? And then kind of going, that's a salad. But going, I've made courgette linguine is like, no, you haven't.
No,
you've grated a courgette or whatever. But, so no, it's not in place of spaghetti.
Can I get my food out?
Yes, please do.
I've got a couple of things.
Nice little Yeti cold thing.
It's not a cold one. It's just a waterproof one.
Oh,
Oh,
that's definitely.
someone's had a snack.
No, that is. Look, that's padded.
Why did you up? Look at you.
What was your snack? What did you have?
I had a croissant. Okay.
Nice.
Got you some biscuits.
Thank you. Some biscuit. Lovely. Apple.
Apple.
I think that's apple. Is it apple?
That's oil. I need the
I don't know
induction.
what fruit is. This is grated parmesan, a pre-sliced courgette, a pre-halved courgette.
Yeah, because I was.
Did you halve it and then go? Actually, I won't do that now.
No, I halved it and then I stuck back together.
Has it got something in the middle?
No.
Oh,
it's just trying to rebind.
Is it trying? God, that's weird. That's like when you cut yourself and put a plaster on.
Yeah, it's trying to rebind itself. Rebind my fire.
Courgettes. I mean, sometimes they really are a good shape.
That's all of it.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, right. We need one pan. One pan.
Pesto,
No, not pesto.
isn't it? What is that? That looks like pesto.
Well, it's not pesto.
Oh, that's cooked down courgette, isn't it?
Did give you a clue earlier.
I know, well, I forgot. Apple, breadcrumbs? No. More nuts?
Yep.
Tomatoes?
Okay, so George, I've got a plethora of things here.
You're sizzling something down there. I can't see it, which is always exciting.
Yeah, that's just courgette. So what I did is I recreated your thing that you did on the pilot, because you did say, oh, we haven't used that. So in here, with courgette, as we all know, it's full of water or full of liquid. So when you did yours, I was like, I've been doing it like that ever since. If I want to make a pasta sauce or something like that. So grated it down, just cooked it down in loads of oil, fennel seeds, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of garlic. And then I put some parmesan through there just to sort of amp up the umami.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd have that on some crackers just so people can see that's a way of doing it. A very versatile thing. You could do that maybe on some toast with a bit more cheese or
like you
lasagna.
Say, in a pasta sauce. Yeah.
In a pasta sauce, anything like that. And then, because courgette is one of those ingredients that is nice, but on its own can be a bit naff and it is a bit tasteless. So I thought what I'd do is I'd go down the sauce route to really amplify said flavours of things. So in here, I have made a sauce, which I have coined a sort of somtum, because it's got the flavours of a somtum, but it's...
What is a som? I don't even know what a somtum is, and I bet some of the listeners don't either. So
okay, here we go. So let me get my words correct. A somtum is a Thai salad, traditionally done with like a papaya. It's quite an acidic from lime juice, and then quite a salty, heavy umami from fish sauce. Yeah. A lot of chili, peanuts, all of that kind of stuff through. I had a good friend, Stu. We went to a Thai once, and they went, how hot do you want it? Thai hot or normal hot? And he went, Thai hot. And it was so hot. Yeah. So I made this, but I used a special ingredient, see if you can guess. And then what I've done is I've kind of made a sort of a somtum, but with...
is there any courgette in this?
No, it's here.
Oh, right. I see. Oh, that's going to go on there.
That's the dressing.
Oh, God, it's nice, but it's really...
Go on, finish your sentence.
Like, no, lovely. But I like really salty and really kind of...
Right.
Thai fish sauce, you said that was in there already. Yeah?
Well, yeah, no.
There's not Thai fish sauce.
No.
Thinned down Marmite or something like that? No. I mean, soy sauce, obviously.
Maybe this is a venture for this vegan fish sauce.
That's what it is?
Yeah. I didn't have any fish sauce because I had this really bad memory of fish sauce when I was in Australia that someone lobbed a bottle to the roof of the dorm room and it smashed and like showered fish sauce over everyone.
Bloody Nora.
Yeah, so I just get fearful of fish sauce. But no, that's vegan fish sauce.
So I wonder what they use to... I wonder what they... Because it must be fermented. Something's
just
fermented.
Vegan fish, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. And then it's lime juice, so acidity, salt. Yeah. And then I put a bit of soy sauce in, which it doesn't normally have because it needed something else because I don't think the vegan fish sauce was punchy enough.
Yeah.
And then it's got some chili in there.
Ginger?
Lime zest, maybe a bit of ginger. And then, and then
there was more going on. Like it looked like there was something slightly fibrous. Maybe that's the...
Yeah. Maybe it's the lime zest.
The lime, yeah.
And then, I put a little bit of MSG in there just to sort of amp up that.
That's lovely.
So a normal somtum salad, you have these, which are just some runner beans, blanched and refreshed to keep them green, a couple of cherry toms, and then normally it has papaya, which is sweetness.
Yeah.
So I've done apple and then raw courgette. And now this is the thing that I think is the interesting part when you talk about flavors and all of this kind of stuff, is that a lot of people, when they make a dish, they kind of expect each individual element to taste of something.
Yeah.
But then you want this sauce to be overpowering on its own, because then when you put it with the sweetness of the apples, the acidity of the tomatoes, the sort of blandness of the courgette, then it all combines and then it makes something wonderful. Whereas if that was kind of quite flavoursome and then you put that in, it'll be
too much.
So you can mix that through.
Shall I
mix that?
pour all of that in, do you think?
Yeah,
Or
you
just,
go, girl.
What do you think? All of it?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it all.
We're on holiday.
Well, I was worried that it might be too much. Oh,
Right.
look at those.
So I've got a couple of bananas here. Oh. If you want to unplug that, then it will... let me unplug it.
I always feel like it's just such a great lesson when you do the cooking, Martyn. No, I really do, honestly.
There's another one coming. So all I've done here is courgette.
I'm going to try this.
I always remember having a courgette dish at Doug McMaster's in Silo. And I said, what did you use the courgette? And he
it was a bit secret, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said, I can't tell you. So this is nothing like it because this is just courgette. But I just crisscrossed it because I want this dressing to absorb into the deepness. So if you do this on a barbecue, like burn it really bad and get that nice and smoky. So one thing that I really want people to take away from this episode is ratios. What were we talking about downstairs? So an Asian dipping sauce, cold Asian dipping sauce. So I saw it on Food 52, 3311. So you do 3 soy, 3 oil, so your salt and your oil. And then you do 1 acidity, so vinegar, any type, and then you do 1 sweetness. It could be honey, it could be sugar. Pick your vessel. You could do it in a bathtub if you had, a bathtub of whatever. But you do it with a tablespoon. So you do 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1.
Yeah.
And then this has got miso and Dijon. So a tablespoon of each. So you go 3, 3, 1, 1, and then 1,
So that's going to be roll.
Yeah.
Boff.
So have a taste of that. And then I thought we'd just smear that over the top of that and let that sucker in. And obviously, if you're doing it on a barbecue, you could baste it.
God, that's intense.
Punchy, yeah. So you want that to be punchy.
Because that's so bland, frankly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should I just put that on there?
Yeah, put it on there.
Spoon it over and let it.
That's it, absorb. So yeah, if you're doing, like I said, if you're doing that on a barbie, you could put that on, glaze it up. This would be good with a terrible aubergine,
Now that I've tasted this, can you tell me exactly what's in it again? Because it's really great, but also really like...
Tell me the ratios out loud. 3, 3, 1, 1.
3, 3, 1, 1.
3, 3, 1, 1. So you do 3 soy, which you go is salty.
3 soy, 3 oil.
3 oil, so that's just a neutral oil, veg oil. And then you do 1 and 1, so acidity and sweetness. So you can go vinegar
or lemon or...
Yeah. And then you can go just honey. Yeah.
Agave.
Yeah. So once you've got that base, then you can go anywhere you want. You could go, garlic, ginger, MSG, chilies, all of that kind of stuff. Or you could go peanut butter.
And so you did that 3, 3, 1, 1, and then on top of that added
mustard,
the miso and the mustard.
Yeah.
In roughly what?
1
equal, right?
Tablespoons. Yeah. So it's a
ratio.
ratio.
So the same as the sugar amounts, right? Yeah, that's lovely.
So then you got like, punchy, and then you got that, and then I got some nuts because who doesn't like nuts? Man, them.
I know you might like them, but
it just kills him.
Right.
So this is just some almondes.
Lovely. Toasted
them, this morning in a separate pan, thinking I might kill him, but he's not here.
Beautiful.
And then peanuts, because you have got to have peanuts in a som tom.
Right. I see. They're going in there. And that's that kind of Indonesian thing going on, yeah? Thai.
There we go.
Southeast Asians. Yeah, let's get some pictures of all these lovely things. Should I put that on there?
It might be nice,
wouldn't it? This is amazing, Martyn, as ever. Oh, we're putting the parmesan on anything. I was
going to put it on top of that.
Do you know what one of my favourite things is?
Going to the cinema?
A culinary thing.
Right.
Actually, taking food to the cinema, but yeah. Eating all of the courgette and like when people cut that end off and like, and they're like eating it. And they're, can you eat that? It's like,
I can
eat everything. That's good, isn't it?
It's yummy.
That's really good. Oh, it's really like off. Slap around the face. That's delicious. And it really does, like you say, because the courgette is so just like a big
log of nothing.
Log of water, isn't it?
But I think, if you burnt that and got some extra char on it, delirious.
That's delish. All right.
What's next? Where should we go?
I want to go. I really want some of this. I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
I'm going to use.
Here you go.
Look, now I know what happened last time. I got covered in food.
Use a spoon.
I know, but I don't want to use a spoon. It's got other stuff on.
Just lick it.
on, taste them.
I'll go on this one.
Well, it's more that I don't want to like to taint it with other flavors. So I'm going to taste what you've done. Here I go.
Here he goes.
I got apple. I got courgette. I got beans. I got that lovely dressing.
Oh, he's eating it like a real person. You're not an influencer. They would have reacted already.
That's why I mean, Rick Stein isn't an influencer, but who's so funny. He's like that. Oh, it's delicious. I already got it in your mouth. Really? Got your brain like Diplodocus.
Oh.
God, that's beautiful.
Delicious, isn't it? Fresh, zingy.
It's so fresh. It's
what other
really,
words have we got?
It tastes healthy without tasting worthy. Do you know what I mean?
And I think, it's like a 2-minute dish. Like if you had all of, courgette, you don't have to, you just chopped it up raw.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of sweetness from the apples.
Beautiful, and the peanuts are really nice to give it that fattiness. All right. Martyn, you've done it again.
We've done it again.
Honestly, I know I said it before, but yeah, I just feel like like you're draining a radiator.
I like this one. This one's great.
No, after when it's your go, I always just feel so inspired and like want to go and recreate.
I like a lesson. I think that's the thing with food. You could cook a nice dish, but if there's nothing to learn from it, then I kind of go,
yeah,
or
just that you just want to then go, well, I just fancy that for dinner now.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yum! Should we move on?
What do you mean Britain's favourites? What is that?
So Britain's favourites is the part of the show where we talk about Britain's favourites. It could be a pie, it could be a dish, it could be just an ingredient. And this week
it's a pretty big one. It's a big one. It's a big manly one.
Oh, steak. Go on. Go. What's your favourite steak? Let's go there. Oh no, I asked the wrong question.
No. Yeah, I haven't. I'll try because I've been thinking about it.
Good.
But
no, give me a quick fire.
If I was going to go for a steak, I'd go for a sirloin. But
ooh.
I love steak. Of course I do. But for me, it's always the things around the steak that I'm more excited by.
Really?
Yeah. So like the kind of if I do it with like onions and mushrooms and chips and blah blah blah, it wouldn't be the same without the steak. But if anything, the steak always feels like a bit of a letdown compared to the other things, which always feel like these are great, but they wouldn't be the same if they weren't cooked in the steak juices, etc. But also, I don't know. Yeah, I love it, but I'd always go for a sirloin.
Sirloin, yeah. I'm a ribeye. I'm a ribeye kind of guy.
Yeah, I do like a ribeye as well. I always find that ribeye always feels like it sort of falls apart a bit more.
Yeah, great.
Which irritates me.
No, I like that. I don't like sawing into it and then having like a nice rectangle. I like the bits.
I would never want to saw into a steak because if I was sawing into a steak, I'd be going, this knife isn't sharp enough. Do you know what I mean? that's one thing. If I make a steak, I will eat it with one of my cook's knives, as it were, or an opinel or whatever. But yeah, something that I can go rather than.
Yeah, Janine always asks. She goes, "What do I like?" And I went, "You're a fillet girl. She's got expensive taste, but she loves a fillet."
Isn't fillet like supposedly a bit bland in taste but amazing in texture?
Yeah, texture-wise, yeah. I think, because Janine doesn't really like the sinewy or the fatty bits, but that's why I like a ribeye, because I like that little blob of fat that you get in there.
I love the fat. I don't like the sinew, but the fat. Yeah.
So, yeah, she doesn't really like that, so that's why she likes a fillet. But, yeah, I think they're good. I think they're tasty. I mean, who is it? Robin Gill, he has the beef tallow resting tray. So then when their restaurants, they cook it, and then they rest it in there.
And it literally sits in a bath of
tallow.
Fat.
Yeah. Oh, we had a chef once that cooked a steak, poached a steak in butter. He just like filled up a saucepan with loads of butter, just put this steak in and just like left it there, like super low, and it just sort of like poached in it. And then at the end, he just seared it. Yeah.
Well, that reminds me of when you went to that place where they had all the amazing machines and you had the reverse sear, where it was sous vide, and then and you did say that was absolutely incredible.
We did a job at multivac, and it was. Yeah, sous vide. So they said to me, you need to use the machines. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. I can do a sous vide, this and that. And I was like, I haven't done sous vide. But then I did it, read up about it. It's so easy. Like if you've got a vac seal machine, you put your steak in, season it up, put some rosemary and some garlic, whatever you want in there. seal it, and then you just put it in a sous vide machine. And they're not expensive. You know, I brought it in and showed you. It's like 50
you can
quid.
get one that just immerses in a regular pan.
Saucepan, whatever. And then you put it in there, and I think it was 56 degrees. So it keeps a constant temperature. You put your steak in there, 2 hours. So then it cooks it to 56, which is like perfect medium rare.
And just to interrupt, when you say 2 hours, you could leave it in there for longer once it's maintained that temperature. It's just, it's not going to cook anymore. Is that right? There was
a test that someone did. 2 hours was like optimum. When you start going over that, it starts like breaking down the fibre. But I think someone could do it to 4 to 6 hours. But 2 hours was perfect, so I didn't have any more time. Yeah, and then you just take it out. You leave it to rest, obviously, because it's been cooking. And then everything kind of goes, oh, yeah. And then you just hit it, super hard heat. You don't have to worry about cooking it. You just want colour. And it was unbelievable.
And if you were doing one at home without a sous vide machine, if you were, for listeners, you might not have one, what would be your go-to way of cooking? Let's talk through what steak, how you're cooking it, how you're resting it, what are you putting on it afterwards. What would you do?
I do it for a steak sandwich, and it's just like the nuts. I always go, Aldi do the Wagyus, which everyone goes, no Wagyu. I was like, yeah, but it's written on the packet. It tastes nice. So the Wagyu ribeye that they do, and then I just really simple oil, neutral oil, salt, and then just a really hot pan. Get a really good sear on it. Keep flipping it over. Check in. Don't let it just hang out.
So you wouldn't do the kind of chefy thing of masses of butter and keep spooning that over? No, I always think it feels like.
So a good sear, and then I take it out to rest when it's like rare, and then leave it to rest, and then I put in the pan because you have all the fond, like the little burnt bits, soy sauce and butter, only a little bit, and a bit of sugar, and then you just put it back in, and it turns into this glaze, and it is unreal. That for a steak sandwich is just like.
And while it's resting, would you just leave it like under something to
just leave it on a tray,
right?
Yeah, if you got like a rack, put it on that so it doesn't steam.
Because what I do, which was I think it was a Nigella thing, and I've just got into the habit of always doing that.
Stick it in a microwave.
Stick it up your bum. No. Well, I don't know why I said that. It's because he was talking about putting a banana up his bum earlier. It's nothing. It's not my.
How do you get put it in my head? There? You have to boudin it.
Hard work.
Get a fillet. The Chateaubriand.
Cook it for ages. That's really leathery. Sorry, listeners. No, so what you do is you do the steak, same kind of thing, just a tiny bit of oil on the outside or whatever, or just even straight into a dry cast iron pan. And then you kind of do a marinade after it's cooked while it's resting. So what you do is you put olive oil, garlic, big squeeze of lemon, maybe some herbs in a like a tray or a bowl or whatever. Cook the steak, and then you let it rest in that. So then you put the sort of spoon some of the garlic and the oil on top, and then just let it sit, and then it rests in there while you use your fond to make whatever else, and then take that out, and it's lovely, and you get a bit of stuff.
I always think there's two things. One, because when I did it on socials, and I said something, and I was like, oh yeah, you leave it to rest so that the blood doesn't run out, and all like
it's myoglobin,
all the men, all the massive floppy ones come out there like, well, mate, it's not blood. It's myoglobin. I was like, all right, well, it looks like blood, and it's the easiest way to explain it to people.
I know, and loads of people say,
oh, they're so mad. But yeah, resting is the most important thing with steaks. You could cook a steak beautifully; it could look amazing.
Do you know what happens during resting? I mean, I know it supposedly stops it. Like if it's kind of taut from the cooking, it relaxes again. But I don't know scientifically.
No, I don't know scientifically either. No, but
it's better.
I always do the analogy of jumping in a bath. Like when you jump in a bath and it's too hot, you're gonna tense up.
Yeah.
But then you sort of slowly get used to it, and you're like, oh, and that's kind of what resting does, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
You just go, ooh. But this is what Heston did, the whole thing about searing. So he was like, you look at all the old cookbooks, and it was saying about how you sear to keep the juices in, but it's nothing to do with that. The searing is to do with the flavour.
Right.
So that's what the Maillard reaction is, or Maillard, however you pronounce it.
Maillard, I think.
But that sear is flavour. It's not locking juices in.
Yeah.
So that's why when you do a reverse sear, where you put it in the oven and then you cook it, you haven't done any searing. The juices aren't pouring out.
Yeah.
It just cooks it to that temperature. Then you sear it to get the flavour. It's not about locking in juices.
What are your thoughts on steak tartare?
As in raw? Steak and tartare sauce? Or
yeah.
Good
Might work.
I've had it twice.
Actually, it probably would work because you've got capers going on. You've got a bit of oil in there. I mean, I bet it'd be really nice. But yeah, steak tartare. Yeah, I had a venison tartare, some Gil melon meal that he did that was really nice, and it came with lots of. It was beautiful. It was this tiny little pile of chopped, steak, and then we had tiny little mini piles of different things like fresh horseradish and capers and a bit of anchovy, and so I can't remember what else. And then you take a little bit, try a bit of that. Oh, and it had a egg yolk on top.
Yeah,
it was great. I think it was a quail's egg. Yeah,
classic.
But Is that boring?
I don't know.
Probably.
Just like one of those things. It's like, oh, we need a small leg. Quail's egg. No, Ben Lippett did it at Wilderness, and it was like in a tent, quite a big tent, and he did steak tartare, but he did these huge plates of it.
Oh,
just like drizzled egg all over. Oh, mate, it was unreal.
Oh, that sounds nice. I like the decadence of that, of just kind of get stuck in.
Yeah. And the best thing about it was there was 6 people sharing on a table, and there was 6 people, but it was like 2 adults and 2 kids. So we were sitting with this couple, and they were just like brought out a sharing platter for 6. So we were obviously eating for 2 extra adults.
Yeah.
We just had so much. Oh, it was so good. But yeah, I had it in Belgium once as well, which was amazing. Like proper
steak tartare.
Yeah, proper. It was just like an egg, and that was it. And
yeah.
It was, incredible.
I tell you what I really like, because when we were going to start talking about steaks, we were going to say, and it's not really a steak, but steak haché, as in basically a burger, is so often
with some grid lines in it.
Yeah, so often better than an actual steak, because you've got all the fat running through them. It's almost like making Wagyu, but by chopping up, and
like what I mean? Fatty meatball burger.
Yeah, delish.
What is your best steak you've ever eaten if you went to a restaurant? Oh, I'll give you questions. It's going to take an hour.
No. I remember I went to it was somewhere in North. This is like decades ago.
Good. Well, it's a memory that's stuck with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was maybe about 16, 17.
Wow,
I went with a friend's family, and we went on a horse and cart, and
chimney.
I think steak had been just invented.
Just finished your chimney sweep shift.
But it was. I think it was Fillet. It was a Chinese restaurant, and it was all very showy, theatrical, and they cooked it in front of you. But it was like butter, but it had various sauces and things put on top as well. It was just, I mean, it was like, you could eat it with a spoon. It was so soft.
Yeah,
but really flavoursome.
We used to go to, Hawksmoor was always our one we would go to for our like wedding anniversary meal. We went to one in Edinburgh, and it was just like you said about the sides. They do this creamed spinach, which is just the nuts, and their hash browns is how I do my hash browns, and they are unreal.
And listeners, if you want to see Martyn's hash browns, go to his channel. And you might have to scroll back a bit, but there's you did the hash browns when you were working from home.
Yeah.
And I remember that one.
Oh, they're the best.
Freezing them and
nutmeg and butter and
beautiful. But that's what I'm saying. It's so much more about, for me, about the things around it than the steak itself, really. Timings wise, if you were going to do the 3 most common cuts, which we have been told here are sirloin, ribeye, and rump.
Yeah, baby.
Rump feels like one that's kind of really gone out of fashion. Yeah, doesn't it? It's like you get them and
lamb rump's cheap. Lamb rump's great. I don't know if I've really eaten much rump of beef.
Whenever I've had beef rump, it's always just been a bit too tough and a bit of a chew fest.
Well, if in terms of timings, it's quite hard to say, because it depends how big it is and how thick it is,
and the temperature as well, because it's like room temperature or fridge temperature or how hot's the room and all that kind of thing. So it is, a lot of it is instinct, really, isn't it?
So much to digress. But top tips, I'd say, if you're buying which most people probably will be, if you're buying your steak from a supermarché and it's been vac sealed,
get it out. Just and get it salted as well. That's what I would do. Yeah. I'd get it out, I'd salt it, and I'd put it on a like a wire rack over a plate in the fridge for a good hour, and then it just it's like brining it, really, I suppose. It's like doing a dry brine for an hour beforehand. And then I pat it dry with like a tea towel.
Well, that's it. And the same with fish as well. If you want to get crispy or like that Maillard reaction, if you put it in straight from the packet, it's just going to boil. But if you get it dry, then that's what will give you that good crisp. And I'd always say, if you're going to try and buy a steak, if you are going to go to the butcher's, get it slightly thicker than what you would think, like a good 2-inch thick.
Yes, and in fact, if you're in the supermarket as well, because they're going together by weight. They're not evenly sliced, so actually I'll go through and find the smallest, fattest one, because which again could be easily edited to sound like something obscene.
You said it.
I know, I thought it.
So take it out of packet, let it dry, get a thick one, and then just slap it in there. Nice and hot. Nice hot pan, not too hot.
Yeah.
And then, timings is irrelevant. I think it's the same as when Adam used to tell me about making pizzas. Don't go for temperature don't go for time with pizza dough, go for temperature. And I think it's the same with a steak. You don't cook for the amount of time. It'll always be looking for the temperature. So get yourself a temperature probe, cook it to a specific temperature, and then take it out. I always think when people cook, I say this a lot, but like if you see Gordon Ramsay, if you see the people on like Hawksmoor, if you watch a channel called Eater, they go and cook at Hawksmoor. The chef, it's his sole job to cook 200, 300 steaks a night. So he can stick his finger there and he can go, I know that's done.
Yes.
Because he's doing 200, 300. How many steaks do you eat a year?
Yeah,
10, 12, you know? So you're never going to pick up that, you know, what's it called?
Instinct or whatever, or just experience. Or
experience, from doing it. So get yourself a temperature probe and then just... Nous, yeah. But get yourself a probe and stick it in, and then you're taking it to a temperature. I think it's like, off the top of my head, I want to say 52 degrees, 54 for like a rare, and then it's only like a degree over, like 56 for a medium rare. But then it's that resting period because it will carry on cooking.
Yes, it will go up. If you literally have the probe in, you would see it go up while it's resting, wouldn't you?
But fascinating. Do that. Get a temperature probe because your steaks will go way better. Then teach yourself that, you know, people say it's rubbish, the hand thing. But if you do...
Yeah, well, maybe that. But just literally feel it and go, well, I know... Roughly, and I think, just remember when you cook it, how it felt, how it tasted. If you went, that was a perfect one, just remember what you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've got a temperature probe, but I never use it when I'm doing steak. Maybe just because I've done enough that I kind of instinctively know what I like and I know what's going to work. But
also, the thing with steak as well is like a ribeye, you have two different cuts. You have two different muscles. So if you do the old, I'm going to finger it here, it could be tougher on that part and then softer on the ice. Then you're like going, oh.
So this is great for listeners. Let's
the thumb
do it
muscle.
So the kind of bit of palm nearest the thumb. If you touch the tip of your thumb to your first finger, it's a lot softer. If you touch that kind of thumb palm bit, if you do it with the middle finger, it gets tougher. If you do it with the third finger, it gets a lot tougher. And it's supposedly that's what the steak should feel like if it's rare. That's what it should feel like if it's medium.
It's a good indicator. It's not like foolproof. Like I said, if you're looking at a ribeye, you've got those two different cuts. If you was to do that down one end where the eye is, it'll always feel quite soft because it's a very soft fibrous part. But if you do it on the other parts, like where the sirloin cut is, it'll feel like that. But yeah, you just gently prod and then the muscle contracts and then that's how it should feel. But
here's a question, which I'm not, I don't know the answer and I don't know if you know the answer, but I'm going to ask you.
That'd be nice.
And it is, with a ribeye, is that center eye, is that basically the fillet? Or is it the extension of that same muscle that is fillet steak with something else around it? Is that right?
I don't know. Should we say yes, just for the internet?
Oh, well, so that if some people go, yeah, they're right, and other people will go, no, that's
wrong.
Yeah. So definitely,
I'm so bad with animal butchery.
The middle of a ribeye is definitely an extension of the fillet.
It's the Chateaubriand.
Come at me. Might not be. It might not be. It might not be.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's definitely. I'm sure I've read that, or is it? Because isn't it also a T-bone steak? Isn't that a sirloin on one side and
fillet on the other,
or ribeye on the other? Let us know, butchers.
Let us know, butcher. And Americans, we're not talking about your flat irons. What else do they have? They call everything differently. Chuck.
Flat iron. I love the idea of a flat iron steak. Sounds cool, doesn't it?
Bavette. What's the one you... Anglais. Anglais. Told you. I was going to get him excited. He's walked off.
Forgot. The best steak listeners. Forget all the sirloin, the ribeye, the rump, the fillet. Go to a butcher's and ask for an anglais or an onglet. I don't know. I always call it onglet, but I think it's anglais.
Let's say a bit French. It sounds French.
Onglet, and it is a round muscle that's quite small. It's one of those secret butcher's steaks.
Yeah.
And it's cut. It's butterflied, so it looks like a feather when it's opened up. Feather blade. That's another American one.
There we go. Yeah, stay on topic.
But anyway, and it's quite offally. It's quite purpley because it's right next to the liver. So it's not offal, but it's got that slightly
gamey bumminess.
Yeah, and it's not bummy.
What?
Just offally.
Offally, bit bummy. But
anyway,
it's so good.
It's so good, and that's one that you want to really barely cook.
Yeah,
and
hard
it's
sear.
Yeah,
real crust on the outside.
Crusty, and then like totally raw in the middle.
Yeah,
and it's my favourite.
Because I bought it from Ginger Pig when you said you got to try it.
Oh, it's an enormous one you got, wasn't it?
And I got it. I cooked the whole thing, and I was like, oh, I'll have a bit later. And I just sat there, kept coming back to it. Like,
yeah. Ooh. Oh, it's just it's the sort of one, that you could just have with nothing, just sliced up, maybe a little bit of rocket, and then just.
I didn't have anything with it. Oh no, I did because I bought the rocket. That's it.
You did have it with rocket.
I bought the anglais, and I bought the rocket tomatoes and an avocado. And that cost the same as the anglais because I got it from...
Yes, because you were being a bit diety, but you were like trying to keep off the carbs. Yeah. So it was just like loads of proteins and loads of I
think it was £28 for the anglais and then £28 for the veg because I got it from somewhere in Borough Market. I was like, oh.
Make sure you enjoyed it. So there we go, folks.
There
That's
we go.
steak.
That's
I mean,
steak.
we could do a whole episode on, I'm sure.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to listeners' questions and stories. This is the part of the show where we listen to your questions and stories, and we read some of the questions and stories out that have been sent in via the Instagram, which is stuff. Oh, God.
And there's wines.
And there's wines.
How's the wine list, the thing going?
Oh, yeah. Nearly done.
It's
Yeah.
nearly done.
Can't wait.
Nearly done.
Okay, so this is Harvey. This is Katie Price's son. He's written in again.
What does he say? I can't be bothered to edit.
Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, this is listeners' questions and stories. How exciting. This is where we get to read out your questions and your stories, and we've got the wines as well. So this one is Harvey. I will always see all these overnight oats videos, but try them and they're grim. Wojix. I want an overnight oats simple recipe that I can heat and eat hot that makes next to no time to make and is very nice.
I've never had overnight oats. I mean, are they just basically soaked oats so that they're softer and less kind of gritty in the morning?
Yeah, should I tell you?
Like a raw porridge almost.
They've got the best hack for this.
Is it? Don't bother.
Yeah, don't bother. No. And I said this when I was Wojix and no one listened to me, but it's the perfect hack. If you think of overnight oats, all you're doing is you're soaking oats. They're obviously going to absorb all that flavour. So it's kind of like similar to a Bircher muesli as well. Like you soak the oats in apple juice and whatnot and then put yogurt and all that deliciousness. If you want to do a decent overnight oats, make a smoothie that you really enjoy and put that into the oats. So if you look at all of like the fitness brands like Barry's Boot Camp and all of that, you look at one of their like peanut butter and chocolate, vanilla, blueberry smoothies that you love, that's basically all you put into the oats and that's it.
So literally pour that onto a bowl of oats and then go to bed.
Yeah. But then overnight oats isn't something that you would technically really want to reheat because it's real stodge.
Yes,
so it's kind of like a cold
porridge if you want a hot. Yeah, I've never thought of them as something you'd have hot.
No.
I mean, I'm a big fan of double cream. And I mean, it's not healthy at all, I realise, but I would say this is so
anti-diet.
So anti the whole ethos around overnight oats. But I bet you if you got oats, put a little bit of full fat milk, then some double cream, then some sugar, and then went to bed and then got up in the morning and ate that'd be nice.
I'm sure it would be.
A lot nicer than all that, seeds or whatever, or herbs.
But I also think people get the portion control with overnight oats. They go really heavy on the oats. So it's almost got to be swimming in liquid because obviously the oats absorb quite a lot of liquid. But yeah, what I'd see a lot of people do is they'll make it. It would look like porridge and they go, oh, great. Then they'll put that in the fridge, come back 12 hours later and it will just be this like flapjack.
Yeah. You also like carve it. Yeah. No, I love, I'm a big fan of the classic Alpen muesli. That with milk. And then if there's cream in the fridge, bit of that, it's so good.
You're such a double cream boy, aren't you?
Well, I mean, come on, who doesn't like double cream?
Well, there we go, Harvey.
Vegans.
Enjoy that.
Maybe they do like it, but they don't have it.
Exactly, have that weird Oatley stuff. God, I hate Oatley.
You don't like Oatley, do you?
No. Should we talk about it on the next podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get the messages up.
We're onto the wine list.
Right, Oatley, stick them on there.
They're already on there, aren't they?
Are they?
I think they were on there before. I don't know if they made it on there, but we definitely talked about them before.
They're on there in permanent pen.
The wine list. Dan says, my wine is paper straws. I know they're obviously better than plastic straws. Better than? But they just disintegrate. But they just disintegrate towards the end of the drink. I'd say they disintegrate earlier than the end.
I've seen it.
Here's my thought on paper straws.
Yeah?
Don't use a straw. You know what I mean? It's like, these straws don't work. It's like, you don't need a straw. You've got a mouth.
Yeah.
Just drink your drink.
I think especially with like, if you've got a refillable thing from Five Guys or whatever, it's like Fanta or Dr. Pepper. Yeah, it's just like, but drink, when you drink something from a vessel that shouldn't be drunk from, it feels weird. Like if you drink from a paper cup, like especially like a big sort of like Pepsi style one, drinking from the side always feels really awkward. Yes,
and also if it's a massive one, it's a bit delicate, it also feels a little bit like it's all going to fall apart. But no, I think the whole paper straw thing is like just don't use a straw. I think I've talked about this on the pod before, but I'll say it again because not everyone's going to listen to every single word.
That's a good idea.
And it was just what really brought home to me was I got some like Starbucks style whatever cold coffee thing from Sainsbury's once, and it was plastic cup, plastic like straw, paper straw, sheathed in plastic, stuck to the side of the plastic cup.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we can't have plastic straw. Everything else is plastic though. And it's just like, what a stupid situation.
And the other thing I hate as well, going on about these reusable, recyclable things, it's like always I'm going, we've got these biodegradable forks. I'm like, we've got a metal fork. It just doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's always there.
Yeah, no, completely. And also, I mean, I find that's a whole nother wine, but the wooden cutlery.
Oh,
I hate the way it kind of like sticks to the roof of your mouth, and it's horrible, isn't it? Anyway, so paper. When I was a child, there was a museum. There was a museum called the Horniman Museum in Forest Hill that we used to go to, and at the basement they had a cafe, and they always gave paper straws. There was like bottles of drink with paper straws, and my friend Daniel Higley was so annoyed.
I love old people, not old people. Sorry, I love when people call like old school names. Surname.
Anyway, and he wrote a letter to the cafe saying, "You've got to get some plastic straws. This is ridiculous," because they all go flat.
Wasn't it Capri Sun? Do they still use paper straws? It was always a really annoying one because you couldn't punch it through that hole.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to get a paper straw that's going to go through a Capri Sun foil, are you?
But
what about these? I've seen like metal straws now that people. But then, what you can do? Carry that around with you?
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you just get like a nice bit of tubing or something, like a bike pump tube that just doesn't go out,
or like for winemaking, like one of those. Yeah, my drink's over there. So there we go.
Well done. Let's put paper straws on there.
Paper straws can definitely go on. I think paper straws. I think paper straws maybe in quote marks, because it's not so much the paper straw that's the problem as much as the hypocrisy of going.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, we've got to get rid of plastic straws, but we can keep all the other plastic things. It's
okay, well, give me a succinct two-worder.
Just say paper straws, but put quote marks around it.
Paper straws.
Do you want to read Hannah's one?
Yes, please. Hannah says, the resealable stickers on packets on rice aren't sticky. So I always end up with grains all around my cupboard.
We've done this one before because John Robbins sent in...
God, memory of a elephant.
Friend of the show, John Robbins. That's what people say when it's someone famous. He said about resealable ones not doing it and it just being a joke. And we agreed. It's been on there before.
Yeah.
Hannah, don't you listen to the podcast?
God, long time listener, first time caller. Maybe give her a break.
No, but it was on an episode because I remember John texting me saying it.
Or maybe you could go to Yo-Yo Grocery, my friend Mitch's place, and you can get recyclable bags that you fill up just what you need, send it back to him, and then you don't need resealable stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get some plastic containers.
And do you know what I would say? Every time you get more than one parcel in the post, keep the elastic band.
Oh,
Put an elastic band. I love elastic bands.
Noah finds them on the way to school because the postman obviously does his thing and slings them. We're going along the bike and he just stops. Well, what's up? Elastic bands.
Got one. But no, I think elastic bands are so great for resealing containers. Just wrap it over and put. Same with cheese in the fridge. Like, don't buy cling film. Just cut the top of the bag. The container. The bag. The packet.
Sleeve.
Packet.
Yeah.
Sleeve.
Packet.
Sleeve.
What are you talking about?
A sleeve of cheese. If you're going to the shops, you can get me a couple of sleeves of cheese. What? The packet.
Right.
Yeah. Cut carefully. Roll it over. Elastic band. Then it won't ping open in the fridge. Oh. You don't need to waste any cling film or anything like that. And you
or
don't
just
get
fold
a hard
it over
end
and
of
put
cheese.
it flat down.
Yeah, but then someone picks it up and puts it back. You haven't done that with
No, get elastic band, mate.
Get elastic bands.
Anyway.
Have a little pot of elastic bands by the fridge.
Don't look.
Oh, is it the herb thing?
Yeah, I just was like, what's next?
All right, I'm going to have one more guess. I don't think it's... Oh, yeah. So the question was, which... We're on to question of the week, folks. We've done the wines. Question of the week. And if you have wines, send them in and tell us. The question of the week was, which common fruit is actually a giant herb? Martyn knows the answer. I don't know.
No, I don't.
Oh, I said I thought you'd looked and then said don't look.
No, I don't know.
All right. I think it's going to be some kind. I can't think of a herb that's a leaf. I'm going to go. I said strawberry before. I'll stick with that, but I don't really think it is. I can't think what else it could be. What's your guess?
I'm going to go raspberry. My logic is raspberry tea.
Yes, raspberry leaf tea, which is what you have when you're pregnant.
Sadie's looking at us like she's screwed us over.
Raspberry leaf tea.
It's raspberry leaf. No way. Mate, it makes sense.
What is it? Onion?
No. Fruit.
I know.
It's banana.
Banana?
Well, I was semi-going down that route because you can actually get on the old ragatong. And...
Oh, yeah. We talked about that before, didn't we? I tried drying them out on the
Radiator
when I was a child.
The largest herb in the world is the banana plant.
Well, Jinx. Can't speak now. While often mistakenly called a tree, banana plants are actually large herbaceous plants. You okay?
Banana plants do not have a typical solid wooden trunk that would identify them as trees botanically. I've got a good one for you. When I went to the Eden Project, they were trying to grow Cornish bananas. So we went to the grow rooms and they showed us all around where they grow all of their stuff.
Yeah.
And they talk about food meters instead of food miles because it's just down the road. And they were like, guess what that is? I'm like, that's a banana. And they went, yeah, they're Cornish bananas. It's like a 3-year project.
Wowee.
Yeah.
And do they look like normal bananas?
It looks like it's no bananas yet because it's just the flower or the herbaceous.
Because bananas is one of those fascinating things where there are so many different types.
Yeah.
But there's one type that's eaten like 99% is just the only one that everyone eats.
I had a banana in the Azores and it tasted like the fake banana sweets.
What are you saying about that? Yeah.
It was like that big. And it was like this amazing little kid banana. And you're just like, what? Oh.
So they're herbs, but then you don't use them as a herb.
Unless you smoke it.
As a herb.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up another episode of Stuff. We hope we kept you entertained, maybe even inspired you to try something new.
I'm inspired.
In the kitchen.
I'm inspired after Martyn's courgette business. Make sure, folks, that you follow us on social media so you can get involved in future episodes. And another reminder, of course, that we are on YouTube. So you listen to us and you hear us eating all this delicious food. If you go to YouTube, you will see what we've been cooking and eating. And that is, a whole nother experience for you.
You get to eat the knob end now.
I'm going to eat the knob end.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening. See you all next week.